Most of the pain we feel in love doesn't actually come from what's happening. It comes from how we see it, from our perception. Let me explain. When you were little, maybe you had a really good friend. You'd play together all the time. Then one day, he started playing with someone else. You felt hurt, maybe even angry. But if you think back on it now, do you still feel that same pain? The truth is, that pain didn't magically disappear. You didn't forget it. You just grew up. And as you did, your perception matured. That same situation doesn't hit you the same way anymore. Your awareness changed, and so your emotions did too. But people who lack that awareness, they stay stuck. They stay trapped inside their own thoughts, looping the same feelings over and over, unable to see beyond their emotional filter. In love, this is one of the most common traps. You feel pain not because of the situation, but because of how you interpret it. For example, he doesn't reply to your message. And suddenly, your mind spirals. Did I do something wrong? Is he losing interest? You start feeling anxious, confused, even hurt. Or maybe someone flirts with you, then disappears. You're left overthinking, tangled up in the what-ifs. But here's the thing, for someone who has already grown emotionally, these kinds of situations don't shake them anymore. I've seen it with so many women I've coached. Once they shift their mindset, once they start focusing on their own growth, these kinds of emotional triggers lose their power. Just like a college student won't get caught up in the problems of a middle schooler, when you elevate your emotional understanding, you stop being controlled by low-level emotional confusion. So if you're feeling anxious or heartbroken, don't focus on fixing the other person. Start by adjusting your own perspective. That's what truly changes the game. Because the truth is, it's not the events that hurt us. It's how we interpret them. Now you might ask, how do I change that? How do I shift my perception? First, before you enter into any emotional situation, assess the risks. Set realistic expectations. Be willing to accept the worst possible outcome. If you can handle it, go ahead. If you can't, walk away. Emotional strength is not just about love or passion. It's about being grounded. Second, learn the system behind emotions. Emotions might feel chaotic, but there's a pattern. Think of them like a loom. If you understand how the threads work, you can weave your way out of the mess. There's a powerful concept in psychology called emotional projection. It's when people unconsciously project their inner fears, insecurities, and dissatisfaction onto others. It's a form of protection. For example, someone who constantly criticizes you? It's likely not about you. They're projecting their own inner chaos. Someone who's always suspicious of others? Deep down, they don't trust themselves. Even things like criticizing someone's appearance can be a mirror of their own insecurities. Projection happens in subtle and obvious ways, and it tells you a lot about a person's inner world. Let me give you 3 common types of emotional projection to watch out for. First, habitual interrogation. You ask, "Hey, have you seen my keys?" They respond, "How should I know? Don't you know your own things?" Or you ask if they want to book movie tickets, and they shoot back, "What, you want to stand and watch?" Instead of calmly answering, they respond with blame and hostility. That's often a sign of low self-worth or a childhood lacking in emotional security. Second, habitual lying. They tell you they can't meet because of work, but really, they just didn't want to see you. Even small lies add up. And when you confront them, they make you feel guilty. That's often someone who didn't feel seen or valued as a child, now using lies to control how they're perceived. Third, habitual denial. You try to explain how you feel, and they cut you off. That's not true. They're not trying to understand. They're trying to defend themselves from any emotional challenge. Deep down, they're not willing to be wrong, because being wrong feels like being unloved. When you understand these patterns, you stop blaming yourself. You realize their reactions say more about them than about you. And here's another truth that hurts, but also sets you free. In relationships, the more need you show, the less value the other person tends to give you. Think about it. When you really like someone, you want to talk to them all the time. You wait for their replies. You go out of your way to please them. You start sending long, thoughtful messages, trying to prove how sincere you are. But the more your emotional need shows, the more they start pulling away. You lose your power in the relationship. And they might even begin to take you for granted. This doesn't mean you should never show interest. It means your needs should never outweigh theirs. When the balance tips, you start to lose control. And they start to feel like they're in charge. Let me give you a simple example. My cousin once went to buy a car. He pointed at one and said he loved it. The salesperson saw that strong desire and immediately raised the price. The moment your need is too obvious, you lose leverage. The same thing happens in love. If your need is too exposed, they stop valuing your presence. Even if you're more attractive, more interesting, more emotionally aware, you'll still come across as the one who needs more. That flips the power dynamic. So what do? Here are 2 powerful ways to reduce that sense of need and take your power back. First, focus on your inner world. No matter how charming or special someone seems, remind yourself, their presence is not the center of your emotional universe. You are. When you take a relaxed, confident attitude, you stop reacting to every little thing they do. And that self-control is magnetic. Second, provide value without expectation. Bring good energy into the relationship. Make them feel happy, seen, and inspired, not because you want something back, but because that's who you are. When your presence feels like a gift instead of a plea, you become unforgettable. And here's the best part. Once your mindset shifts, your entire presence changes. People feel it. Even someone who used to ignore you might start chasing you. Because now, they're responding to your energy, not your need. If this video helped you see love in a new light, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Share it with someone who overthinks, and remember, healing starts with how you see,